Hi everyone, I'm JJ Latia, and I'm the technical coordinator at ODEA, the strategic partner for marketing at EFBC. And I am joined today by our friend Hassan.
Hey everyone, I'm Hassan Momin. I am the lead full stack developer at ODEA.
Thank you for joining us today, Hassan.
Of
Um,
course.
I just wanted to share how ODEA has been implementing different types of AI tools into our own company, as well as where we get these ideas from and the idea to help us or complete tasks that are mundane and can be repetitive, as well as just speed up our time as our marketing managers love saving time. And so we have three that we want to talk about today. And so the first one is our ODEA brand guide. Hassan, can you tell everyone a little bit more of the brand guide and kind of um, how it became and what the end results were?
Sure. So I'll get started with what our workflow used to look like previously, what the problem was, and how we made it more efficient. So with ODEA, we have a bunch of clients, each with their own brand colors, fonts, and logos, and essentially brand guides that they have to abide by. And so every time we're working on a project, we'll have to go into our Dropbox and dig through it and find their brand guide and make sure we're following it to the T. And that's not to say our Dropbox is messy, but our designers might not have been working with a certain client for an extended period of time. And then when they go back, they'll have to go in, dig through Dropbox, and refresh themselves on the brand guide and the principles to follow by when they're working on those projects. So it's a lot of back and forth and time wasted in digging through files. So what we came up with was taking those brand guides, which were stored as PDFs, and not creating a custom RAG application, but using a RAG application, which is custom GPT. So we uploaded the brand guides into custom GPT, and that allowed everyone on our chat GPT plan, so everyone on team, to just click that custom GPT and query, what is X client's brand color? What are their fonts? How can we use the logo? Can we flip the logo? Can we use the logo in black and white? So it'll give you that answer directly, and it has access to all of the brand guides. And so, this cut down a lot of time for us across the board. I think annually we're saving about 200 hours each year just by, taking away uh, the time that we spent digging through files and whatnot. So it gives us all that time back to focus on doing good work as opposed to doing mundane things such as getting ready to do the work.
Yeah, and I remember coming to you on this one. Um, I do a lot of video work at ODEA, and so I'm constantly jumping from one client to the next. And so there's just a lot of text colors to remember, whose fonts are what font. And so for me, I'm able to really just go in without having to have the hassle of going through Dropbox, going to the client folder, going to the brand folder, and then finding the brand guide. And so this really helped streamline my process as a creator on team, just to be more efficient in my work. The second use case that we've created, Hassan has named it Slotly. And so, Hassan, I will let you talk more about Slotly, why we need it, and how we're using it.
Sure. So, I mean, why we need it is very simple. Patty's calendar is a mess, and it's impossible to get time with her to meet with her and talk about ongoing projects and scoping out new ones. Um, but no, in general, what Slotly does is that it takes away the need to dig through multiple people's calendar and find availability that overlaps for everyone so that you can schedule a meeting. Instead of having to do that manually with Slotly, what you do is you'll just type in the person's email address and then select the date range and the time range that you're looking to schedule a meeting. and then it will automatically give you open availabilities that overlap with everyone. So whatever times it shows you, everyone has those times available on their calendar. And then with that, you can schedule the meeting right from that interface, and then you can also add a Google Meet link. So it takes away that step as well.
Awesome. So I do remember one thing of this tool that you created. Um, the beginning of it was pretty harsh um from our side, and so can you talk a little bit more of that aspect that you ran into?
Yeah, so with Slotly, the interesting thing was that initially I was trying to build it as a AI application. So I wanted the user to be able to type in, I want to schedule a meeting with Patty and JJ at 3 p.m. on Tuesday. Are they available? And it goes out, figures all the things out, and gets back to me and tells me. What I found was that AI was overkill for that application. And two, there was too much ambiguity for this to be a proper AI use case. And so what I landed on was on automation. And the automation took away that ambiguity. It really nailed down on the important aspects by using a form. And so it unified the way that the data was being passed through the application, which ensured that you would get accurate results 100% of the time.
Perfect. Another thing I just wanted to mention of Slotly is that ODEA is ran off of Google's platform. We are not Microsoft based, and so Google does have an API integration with it. They can take from our calendars or connect to it rather. And so we have thought and started to look into other calendars such as Microsoft's calendar just to see if it is possible with other calendars. And Hassan, correct me if I'm wrong, um,
Mhm.
but it seems like it is a possible connector that you can make.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that's just a great point that you made right there, JJ, about APIs. Anytime you're looking to build any kind of application, it's very important that wherever you're going to be needing data from, so in this instance, it was our calendars, which are Google based. So we need to ensure that Google has an API for that. So, I mean, if you want to connect to a database, it's important that that database offers API access. Because if you don't have the data, then you can't. That's essentially step one. You'll be dead in your tracks right there if you don't have API integration into your data sources.
Cool. Moving along to our third tool is a email agent that one of our marketing managers thought of that she is constantly checking emails or her inbox for client emails that might be on a tight deadline. And so she was looking for help in that area. Hassan, can you expand on that as well as maybe give more detail into what Emily was looking for?
Yeah, sure. So, the way Emily described it, she felt like she was wasting a lot of time repetitively just stopping what she was doing and checking her email. And I think that applies to a lot of people. You don't want to break that flow state that you have sometimes at work, and you're just getting good work done just because you need to check for an email. So she wanted a way that she would be notified about an important email and that she would be able to reply to the email by voice and send the email without having to stop what she was doing. So, in order to do that, we made an email agent which integrated three different APIs. Two were voice APIs, so one was text to speech, and the other one was speech to text. So, the text to speech would read you the email that came in. The speech to text would take what you said into your microphone and type it out as an email. And then the third integration was Claude, which is a generative AI platform. And what Claude would do was Claude was doing two things. It would scan your emails and check to see if they classified as important, urgent, time sensitive, or anything from a client. It would check to see if the email was that. After that, it would read out the subject line and the message in the email. And if there was any attachments in that email, it would also parse, PDFs, Word docs, and give you a summary of that attachment. After that, it would give you the option to reply to the email. You would reply, it would read what it wrote down back to you, and then you had the option to either send the email out without looking at it, or you could save it as a draft and then send it out at a later time. So yeah, this essentially just completely took away the need to having to check your inbox at all. It would scan your inbox every 5 to 15 minutes, however you would like to set it up. That's a changeable setting that we made. And in those 5 to 15 minutes, it would scan your inbox, see if any of the emails fit within the classification to be read. It's read, and then you go from there.
Perfect. Um, did you run into any types of problems while either QAing the email agent or even just building it to for the voice um part of it?
I mean, there was, of course, there were some technical hurdles. Using a speech to text and a text to speech API, that was my first time, and so there was some interesting things with capturing the audio, saving the audio briefly, and then passing it to the next API. So just passing that data back and forth between the different APIs definitely gave me a few hurdles, but it was nothing we couldn't solve. So.
Nice. So those are just a couple tools that ODEA ourselves have implemented. We're always thinking of new creative ways. I already have a couple for Hassan in mind that I actually thought of last night. And so we're constantly thinking and trying to experiment, if you will, if ideas have the ability to save us time, make us more efficient, um, or just being able to resolve mundane tasks that doesn't really require one of us, but it still needs to be done. And so, why not let AI help us do those mundane tasks like scheduling meetings with multiple team members on our team? I want to thank everyone for listening in, and we will talk to you next time.